Singing about it. And we are live, folks. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. And today we are talking all about how to get you more leads. And we aren't wasting any time. So let's dive right in. I have my special guest here, Jake. He is our paid media manager. But Jake, what problems do you think really stand in business owners' way when it comes to increasing their leads?
There's a few things. I'd say utilizing free tools that are available to you, making sure that you're allocating the right budget for your marketing. And then also the biggest one, I think, is tracking your return on investment with that marketing budget.
Rightly so. But if somebody's tuning in right now and you have to give them 3 tips that they need to keep in mind today to make an impact, what would it be?
Again, utilizing your free tools, I'd say Google My Business, which you're all familiar with now, being rebranded into Google Business Profile, is a highly underutilized tool, right? It's a free tool. You can use that. It can generate a ton of business for you. So making sure that you're utilizing your Google Business Profile, making sure that you're utilizing social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Right. When I was a kid in the 90s, right, when I would go to the store with my parents, they needed something, right? You would go to the store, you would purchase it. Now it's different. It's an online world, right? So people are going to go to your website. They're going to go to your social media profiles and check you out. Look at your reviews, right? So just making sure that you're utilizing social media as well. Utilizing Google Analytics is a very powerful tool, right? Google Analytics is something that gives you a lot of insight into user interaction with your website, user behavior. And then I'd say really allocating the right budget, right? When you're going into having a marketing strategy or a business plan, having that plan laid out, having that timeline laid out, making sure you're allocating the appropriate budget to that, including a SMART goal. SMART goals are very, very important, in my opinion. If you're not familiar with what a SMART goal is, it's something that I am very big on. A SMART goal is something that is very specific, right? Like, what am I looking to achieve here? Am I looking to increase sales? Am I looking to increase leads? Making sure that it's measurable, right? Using Google Analytics to measure it, using Google Ads conversion tracking to measure it, right? Making sure it's achievable. If you want 1,000 leads in a month, you have to make sure you're putting the right budget to achieve 1,000 leads a month, right? Making sure it's relevant, making sure that it's relevant to your business and your job. And then lastly is time bound, making sure you have a time limit on it, right? Like, here's my plan. I'm going to achieve this day 1 through 15. I'm going to achieve this day 15 through 30, and, have a 6 month to 9 month, maybe even a year to 2 year plan, right? That's very, very important to plan these things out.
Yes, all of those things are great here. And if you didn't catch me there, I'm writing down my notes, as you should be too. But
I missed one though. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I missed one.
Yeah, sorry.
And last but not least, which again I think is very, very important as well, is tracking your return on investment through some sort of P&L report, knowing exactly how much you spent on marketing month one, how much I got 10 leads this month. I closed 6 of those leads, and it generated X amount of revenue for my business. Having a P&L report and tracking that is highly, highly crucial as well.
Yes, P&L report, y'all. You're writing it down.
That stands for profit and loss, if you didn't know that.
We got it. But I have spoken with a bunch of business owners before, and one of their constant gripes is that they love being a business owner, but they just hate finding new customers. So tell me a little bit more about the tip number 1 and how all that works together.
Yeah, so tip number 1 was utilizing your free tools, right? Your Google Business Profile, former Google My Business Profile, is a powerful thing, right? So making sure that your Google Business Profile is optimized for the correct services that you offer, your correct service area, making sure that you're getting reviews. Reviews are really, really important. There's nothing wrong as a business owner to say, hey, I performed this great service for you. Please leave me a review, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I think asking for reviews is something that's really important. When it comes to your services, right, I'm going to use a lawyer as an example. If you're a lawyer, right, well, what areas of practice? Do you practice civil? Do you do criminal defense, personal injury, right? If you do all of them, making sure all your areas of practice are listed on there. The cities, zip codes, every area that you work in. That's very, very crucial. And then also having that social media presence, right? Like I said earlier, most people now, they're going to go to your website, they're going to go to your social media, they're going to go to your Google business profile, read your reviews, look at your reviews. So having a social media presence is very important as well. Lastly, utilizing the Google Analytics to track your new users, as well as user interaction, right? Knowing, hey, month one, I had, 35 new users. Month two, I had 60 new users, right? You increased a little bit. So knowing how many new users you're getting on a monthly basis, as well as user interaction. How are they interacting with my website, right? If you don't know those things, it's kind of hard to increase your lead volume because you don't know where to make your changes on your website to increase engagement.
Yes, I am all about using Google Analytics to make decisions on big changes that have data to back it up.
Data, data, data.
Yes, and now let's talk about your second tip here. It was about SMART goals. How can somebody set up a SMART goal? Tell me more about it.
So the biggest thing is just really having a business plan or a marketing business plan as well as a marketing plan in place, right? Because they're two different things, right? Here's my business, here's my plan of what I want my business to do. Here's my marketing plan that's going to help my business get there, right? I see a lot of people don't do this. They don't have a plan. They're not thinking, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps ahead. That's very important, right? Because you don't want to bleed money. You want to make money. So in order to do that, you need to be thinking 10 steps ahead. Okay. In typical rule of thumb, that's, you can go Google search this. It's out there. It's pretty common knowledge is that what you kind of want to look at is roughly 8 to 10% of your total revenue yearly. You want to allocate roughly 8 to 10% of that to marketing, right? Because you're profitable, you're making money. Now you need to take some of that money and funnel it back into your business to continue to grow. If you don't funnel that money back into your business, how are you going to grow?
Right. I think sometimes business owners, especially when they're new business owners, they think, once I get my product out there, it's going to take off naturally. The word of mouth will take it and just run with it, and everybody will want to be using it. But turns out you got to put your money where your mouth is, especially if it's in line with your business. But Jake, you've given us a whole bunch to think about already when it comes to all of this great stuff. But how do you know all of this?
Well, I've been doing this for a very long time, Candace. I've been in the digital marketing field and, web design, web development for almost 10 years now. I've failed. I've succeeded. I've succeeded way more than I failed, but those failures are important, right? Because they allow us to grow and learn. So I've seen it. I've done it almost all. It's been a incredible journey, and there's no other industry or field I'd rather be in.
Yes. So y'all know we're talking to the real deal here. But let's wrap it up here. Give us tip number 3.
All right. So tip number 3 is just, really tracking that ROI. I'm kind of putting a real emphasis on this, right? Because it's something that I hear a lot. You really need to know your profit and your loss, right? You really need to know, I've generated this many leads on a monthly basis, and this is how much revenue I've generated. This is my typical close ratio. I have an 80% close ratio, right? That's fantastic. You need to know that information, right? So then you can kind of gauge whether you're being profitable or not, or whether you're bleeding money. And if you're bleeding money, then it's like, hey, let's stop and let's rethink this marketing plan, right? Got to have that marketing plan. The marketing plan can prevent you from bleeding money as long as you continue to follow it and you're tracking your profit and your losses and your ROI.
All right. So just to recap, if you're in here and you're taking notes, tip number 1, utilize your free tools. Tip number 2, make sure you're making a plan or else you plan to fail. And tip number 3, make sure that you're looking at your ROI. But Jake, do you have any last minute tips for us here?
No, just the 3 that I gave you, I'd say are probably the most important in my opinion. Just really utilizing those free tools. Those things are free they're free, right? It's not going to cost you anything to do it. We're here to help you set it up too, right? Like we offer services, right? We can do that. We can do that for you. We can take that hat off your head, right? If needed, but they are free tools, right? Making sure that you're utilizing them, making sure you're understanding how people are interacting with your website via Google Analytics. Really having that plan and that business goal, business plan, SMART goal in place, and then really tracking that return on investment.
Well, that is a wrap for this week, folks. Thank you, everyone who tuned in today. But a special thanks to Mr. Jake Janowski because he cleared his schedule for us today. So thank you, Jake.
My pleasure. Love being here with you, Candace.
Thanks. Alrighty, folks. Well, that's a wrap for this week. I will see you on the flip side. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to shoot us a DM and we'll be happy to continue the conversation there. Bye, guys.